All right, guys, looks like we're down to about 1 minute before we get started here. So if you guys have any questions before we get started, please ask away here. And of course, throughout the webinar, I will be taking questions as well. So if you are in need of to have your question answered, please feel free to ask away, and then we'll try to address it as quickly as possible, again, throughout the course of the webinar. So again, if you do have questions, please feel free to ask those questions during our webinar, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. We are going to begin. It is 7 o'clock on the dot here. Again, my name is Curtis Brooks, and we are going to be doing a screen share. The name of this webinar is 5 Things We Must Do, or 5 Things You Must Do to Facilitate Change in Your Life. And that name resonates with me, or at least the title of this webinar resonates with me, because I too have done the 5 things. And so we're going to talk about those 5 things in just a few moments here. I will be doing a screen share of the presentation. Again, that is going to be 5 things you must do to facilitate change in your life. Rest assured, I have also done the work. I would not be presenting something before you and I had not done the work myself. That would be ridiculous. But nevertheless, with that being said, we're going to move forward and share my screen with you of the presentation I put together here. Again, the 5 things that you must do to facilitate change in your life. Make sure we got this together here. All right. Once more, 5 things you must do to facilitate change in your life. This is going to be awesome. The objective of this webinar is for you to use this information to apply it to your life. And you can say, well, in what fashion can I use this information? This information can be applied in any area of your life, absolutely any area of your life. And it is very interesting. Sometimes we are just like, well, what do I do with this information? Where do I start? If you're looking for a job, if you're out of a job, it can be used for almost anything or any situation in your life. So let's get started here. Once again, we're talking about 5 things you must do to facilitate change in your life. And I thought about this because the movie The Strain, if you're familiar with it, gentleman or the actor Elrich Palmer, he talks about complacency is the enemy of empires. And what exactly does that mean? Well, it can mean a lot of different things. Obviously, it's subjective. You can look at it many different ways, but it's interesting because complacency is the killer of all progress. And sometimes we believe that we are here, we've arrived at a certain place, only to find out that our competitor has done one better than us, or to find out that we've gotten comfortable with certain situations or situation in our lives. And now, obviously that can be anything, but complacency is the enemy of empires. And you may not be working on something as large as an empire, but it could be your personal issues in life. It could be challenges that we are dealing with. And we've become complacent with those challenges in life, or at least have left those things alone, if you will, or at least feeling that we were on top of the world, or had become just knowledgeable in a certain area, only to find out that we were in need of more knowledge. So complacency can, in fact, be the enemy of empires. The complacency can be, in fact, the very area that we are dealing with in our life, and at least as far as moving ahead, creating some progress in our life, creating some momentum in our life. Again, complacency is the enemy of empires. And the goal of this webinar is to learn how to be deliberate in your speech, actions, and eventually get results. And that's what we're going to be talking about, learning how to be deliberate in our speech, our actions, and eventually getting results. That is the goal. We all want results, right? Of course we do. And remember, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions and we'll get to them, those questions, as soon and as quickly as possible. Once again, my name is Curtis Brooks and I am a transformational speaker and coach, and that has not always been the case for me. I started this process, and I also process loosely in a sense that gathering all kinds of information just through life, and eventually putting that information into a process, and eventually coming out with why. I mean, wanting to answer my why. Why are things going in my life, and what is going on? What's happening? Why don't I have? Why do I have? What is too much? And all these different questions had bombarded me as a child, and I came to a place at an early age I just wanted to answer my why, and it led me on a spiritual journey, receiving Christ as a youngster, and again, not even fully embodying that, but just going through the motions initially. And that was where I was at for many years as a youngster. And that there even led me further to the journey to really accept the invitation that life was calling me to know more. I wanted to know more about life. I wanted to know about my pain. I wanted to know why I was going through the different things, why different things have happened in life. I wanted to know. I needed answers. And I was really just challenged to find those answers. And it took me again on a spiritual journey. And eventually it led me to answering a lot of questions that were just there. And it took me through a transformation. And now I'm excited or delighted to be able to present Curtis Brooks to you in a way that I've learned to accept him and be my best friend, and the desire to help others come to a place where they too can take that journey, because you will take that journey, whether you want to or not. You will take that journey or you will get left behind. And that's for all of us. And I mean that with every conviction in my heart, because the journey is necessary for all of us to take, and it is needed. You will not go to the next level without the journey, and at least some part of your life be transformed, if not your entire life be transformed. And that is transformed in a way of our renewed mind, our new thinking. So with that being said, let us start the webinar. We're talking about 5 things you must do to facilitate change in your life. Mountains. We all like mountains, so at least I think we do. And I chose mountains because mountains are beautiful. They are majestic, and they are just a mass of the earth, if you will, protruding through the earth, or the ground at least, and have been formed through all kinds of ways, or just the evolution of Earth, or this planet. And I don't know the entire history of mountains, but the fact is that they are beautiful, they are majestic, and they are awesome. And at the same time, these mountains leave us intrigued by their beauty, or just overall, just we wonder, wow, what's up there? What's at the top of this mountain? What's in between? What's on the journey up? What will you find? And at the same time, these beautiful mountains are a mystery. And that leads me to vision. Vision is interesting because it is more than just vision. It is a image. And most of us are familiar with the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics and how they wrote in images. They spelled things out in images. Stories were created through images, or stories were told through images, well before even the Egyptians had come along. So throughout history, images have told stories, and we've used images to tell stories in a sense of perhaps sign language. A person who is deaf may use sign language. So again, images and signs, if you will, they will tell a story, but yet they, in fact, are the vision behind everything that we would hope for or choose to accomplish in life. Visions are, or at least the words that make up the visions and the images that create the vision, they in fact are the concept, or they're the engine behind everything that we will do. And it can surely be challenged in regards to where does this stuff come from? And again, that is the challenge that man is trying to figure out. Where does this stuff come from? Does it just appear out of nowhere? It comes from the vision. It comes from the images. And when we put together the words and the vision of our mind, or at least what comes to mind, or how we communicate with each other, when we put those things together, we come up with the concept. The concept is again, the machine behind all of this that will come to fruition in life. And when these things come to life, again, it's the concept that is working behind all of this. And through the concept, again, we have the vision, we have the image, we have the words. We spell words, we communicate with words, and we share words. In a sense, I love you, I care about you, I'm upset with you. These words have powerful meaning to them. And eventually we come to a place, seeing is believing. What is seen? Seen is through which we reveal the concepts. Concepts, in fact, are words, and words are what we believe in. Words are what we hold true to our understanding, true to our belief. So we, in fact, believe in the words. The words themselves are an image. They are the vision which we see things. We are obviously accustomed to believing that we see with our eyes. Yes, we see with our eyes, but we see through the words that are spoken. That is the vision that we have. Words are images. They are also concepts. So when we speak words, we see words. We see the image. We see the concept behind the word. And we understand that this is the vision that we are going after. This is the vision that we're desiring. But this vision that I'm talking about is a vision that you will need to accomplish your goal. The vision you will need to fulfill that task, whatever it may be. You will need vision. You will need words to perform this vision, your belief, the emotion behind it. That's the reason why emotions are so powerful. Emotions are needed to carry out your vision, because those are the things that are working behind the words themselves. They are the emotions. And without the emotion, the vision really doesn't have a chance, or at least a sustainable vision or idea or that concept to come to fruition. Without the emotions bringing those things to pass, in most cases, we don't stand a chance. And this is how vision works. This is why vision is so important. And that when your vision is working properly, you have the right image, And this could mean the image of who you or how you see yourself, the right concept of how you and I connect the dots with issues in life. And when things are going well and when things are not going so well. How do we connect the dots? This all has to do with vision. This all has to do with seeing. Seeing is believing. What you see is what you believe. And in most cases, our emotions are behind that which we see. Our emotions are wrapped up in our vision. That's the reason why the mountain is so powerful, because so many people have looked at the mountain in their life. Perhaps it can be a physical mountain, or it could be an obstacle or challenge which we're dealing with in our personal lives. And so many people have looked at this mountain and they're in each of our respective lives and decided to say, wow, this mountain is huge. It is going to be an obstacle. And for some of us, that mountain still remains an obstacle in our lives. And the only way to bring that mountain down to size is that we must take upon different words to bring that word down to size. Words are images, words are concepts, and eventually what you see through which you speak becomes your vision. So, in fact, the mountain or the challenge that you and I may be dealing with from time to time, it's not, in fact, as big as you think it is. And this vision here, or this image here, is interesting because to me, it says a whole lot. It's a little blurry, but it says a whole lot. It shows a picture of a cougar or some kind of cat, if you will. I think mountain lion, I think that's what it is. Making or preparing to make a leap. And I think that's what mountains represent for me. What do they represent for you? They can represent, obviously, a lot of different things. They can represent an obstacle, something immovable, something that's just there, something that's in the way as we're trying to make progress, something that we're continuously going around. Mountains can represent all kinds of different things. It can represent something that's bigger than life. It can represent a place where we're at right now. Again, the list goes on. What does this mountain represent for you? This mountain can be a challenge for a lot of us. And a lot of us, this mountain is challenging to take on. And as we decide to take the leap, or is looking at this mountain line, preparing to take this leap, what goes through our mind? What are the feelings that we are having? Perhaps this is you and I right now, getting ready to take the leap, not quite sure how to take the leap. But rest assured, before you and I take the leap, we will need a vision. We will need to size that mountain up, if you will. We'll need to bring that issue that we're dealing with in closer so that we can examine it. And you might be saying, well, Curtis, how do you bring this mountain of this huge proportion in close so that you can examine it, so that we can examine it? Well, it's easy. You've got to visit that mountain. You've got to build a relationship with that mountain. Again, that mountain can be an issue or a situation that you and I may be dealing with. You've got to purposely or deliberately visit that mountain. And that's why vision is so important, because we've got to choose the right language that gives us the right image, choose the right words that will give us the right image. And when we have the right image, we can take hold of the right concept. And I say the right concept because it's the concept, or it's the right choice of words, it's the right image that we have picked up, or at least collected through our subconscious. And eventually we have the right concept. And when we can have the right concept, we can prepare ourselves to take hold of the journey and be prepared as his mountain lion and taking a leap, which is necessary for us to move on to that new place in life, that new level in life, achieve those goals, take on that new promotion. So you will have to size it up. We size it up by bringing it in close, bringing those fears in close. That which you fear is important as well, because the fear has our emotions. That which we fear, our emotions are wrapped up in it. And so as you prepare to take the leap, consider the feelings that are wrapped up in you taking the leap. Purpose. Purpose is interesting because purpose represents, to me, a mindset that is required. And mindset, in a sense, is the framework that which will encase all of our experiences. It is like the framework of our building, or a house, if you will. And all those things that are in the middle are, again, the experiences of life. And that makes up the mindset. And when the mind is set, we find the purpose for which we are living, the purpose which we are here, the purpose which we will have a conversation with someone, the purpose into building something, the purpose into taking forth or taking on that promotion in life, the purpose which we are here in this earth. We find purpose. We find, again, the framework of our existence. And within the framework are our multitude of experiences. And those are the things that make up our purpose. And I have the word craftsman. Craftsman is, or at least what I've come up with, a craftsman is a blacksmith. And the word blacksmith comes to mind because he or she works with iron. They shape iron, they forge iron. And earlier, my preparation for this webinar, I took the liberty to look at the word forge. And it means to make or shape a metal object by heating it in a fire or furnace and beating that object by hammering it. And they hammer it into shape, or making a sword, making knives, making any kind of metal, or utensils that we eat with. Those things are forged into their perspective utensils. Again, forks, knives, any kind of frame, fencing. Those things are forged. Those things go through a intense pressure. And I'm going to venture or suggest that this is what our lives go through. By taking on such a task and saying that I want to become a banker, I want to become a flight attendant, I want to be successful in life. Rest assured, the very words that we have chosen to build a relationship with, we are going to be forged into that item, or that career that represents success for us. We are going to be forged into that. We're going to be shaped into that. We're going to be challenged on every hand. And though in most cases we take the challenge personal, why not? Because it hurts. It brings up feelings. But rest assured, the very thing that we have spoken, the very idea, or at least the mindset that says, I will, I can, I accept the challenge, I accept the invitation, is your preparation and your readiness for saying that I'm ready to be forged. I'm ready to be made into that which I'm going after. The word forge here is powerful, folks. It is powerful because unless we are ready to climb that mountain or take on that goal to accomplish whatever it may be, whether you want to be a doctor, lawyer, it doesn't matter. You will become something in life. Even if you don't know what you want to become in life. If you have no idea what you want to do when you grow up, you will become something. And that something that you will become will be led by your speech, led by what you see, led by what you say, led by your vision. And if your vision is poor, or at least you have a poor image of yourself, it doesn't matter. You will be forged into that image of which and how you see yourself. This is awesome. And this is how powerful our speech is. This is how powerful the vision, the image that we create or that have been created through experiences in our life. Whatever you and I, my friend, whatever you and I speak in this life is representation of the image, is how we see things. And to add fuel to fire, when we have those emotions behind those images, those words, if you will, our very fear sometimes will aid in propelling, or at least fueling the situation of what we're maybe dealing with. Our very emotions are part of the reasons why we have and we don't have. Because when we think highly of something, we put our emotions behind it. Our emotions fuel the fire, if you will. Our emotions will be gas or fuel to that vehicle, that which we are hoping for. But without the emotions, situations can be, or at least appear to be, oh, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter to me. But when it matters to us, we put the emotions behind it. And then we determine if we're going to go after it. We go after it because the emotions are there. We're being fueled by those emotions, or at least the very engine, at least our belief is being fueled by the emotions. The very words that we have spoken, or the experiences that we have dealt with, or we have shared that have taken place in our life, they are fueled by emotions. And those emotions help to forge the very life that we're living right now. If your life is wonderful, it's from the vision. It's from the words, the images that create the vision. And again, fueled with the emotions behind that which you are hoping for. we are then forged, or at least made into that which we believe. Forging something is not necessarily just for an object, or at least a metal. From the word forge, we get forgery, where someone forges someone's name, stolen identity, if you will. So, again, if you are desiring to move to the next level in your life, your hope and your aspirations are going through the ceiling, if you will. You're excited about it. That's just the beginning, is the emotions. But now the work has to take place. And the work takes place by you and I being forged into that which we hope for. And it is a painful process. It's a process that will make you think, what was I thinking? Why did I go here? It's a process that sometimes most of us don't accomplish because it's hard work. It's hard work being forged, being shaped into that which you're hoping. Because that means that some of the habits and different ways we've grown up, those things will not fit through, which or at least that space that we're trying to obtain and attain. That which we're going after, which will not fit into that space. It's small quarters, if you will. And some of the stuff that we are carrying in life, the baggage, if you will, of past experience, past hurts, will not fit into this space. So we say, or a person may say they want to become a doctor, they want to become a lawyer, they want to become a flight attendant, they want to be an engineer. In most cases, before we become that engineer, that doctor, that a lawyer, or whatever your desire may be, you will have to be forged and shaped into that which you are desiring. Declare your declaration. What are you saying? And this is powerful in itself, because what you say and what I say, it does matter, because it has everything to do with our intentions. And that alone is powerful, because our intentions, or at least behind our intentions, are the emotions, our hopes, again, our aspirations, those things we're looking and hoping to accomplish. And our intentions have to line up. We can't just say, well, we can, but the chances of us accomplishing that which we are hoping for, when it's not lined up with some kind of, or at least made into some kind of agreement, those chances are slim to none that we will be able to accomplish that goal. The intentions are the agreement that we will have within our own selves. First, we first must have the right intentions. We first must have the right agreement within our own selves. Again, a collaboration that is going perfectly well. Those intentions have to be there. And now when we add the intentions and tap it into that which we are hoping for, we enter a much bigger space. It's called the universe. And this webinar is not necessarily here just to get spooky and weird, but when we understand that we are spiritual human beings, we're all spiritual human beings, not religious, but spiritual human beings. And through that understanding, we can declare certain things, we can speak certain things, but yet through our speaking, through our declaration, the intentions have to line up with the purpose. The intentions are your heart. They're what are your intentions? Are your goals, your dreams, your aspiration here to help others? Or are they purely for selfish reasons? And I'm even going to venture to say that most of that which we are hoping for are for selfish reasons. And there's a whole space that we need to tap into to make sure that our intentions are lining up with the universe. And when our intentions are lining up with the universe, they will resonate not necessarily with this open space, but will resonate with people. People will understand, they will get what you're saying. They will want to be a part of what you're doing when your message lines up with the universe, when your intentions are lined up with the universe. When you have it rightly in your heart for the right reasons that you are building this business, you're helping someone, you're creating this fundraiser for the right reasons. What are your intentions? Will your intentions be rewarded? Yes, absolutely they will be rewarded. They'll be rewarded when they are a blessing to the universe. The universe will give you everything that you need, everything that you desire will be given to you through the universe. But again, lined up in alignment with the right intentions. Action. What action will you take? Action is an awesome word because it requires us to do something. It requires us to be active, to take action. And we must know that we are taking the right action. Again, vision, having the right vision. And you may be asking, what is the right vision, Curtis? The right vision is that vision that is helpful to others, not only to yourself. Again, it's really like looking into the eyes of the world, if you will, the universe, not only through what you see, what I see, but looking through and looking past our experiences and getting the hope that exists there, regardless of what you and I may be going through or have gone through. What are you looking at? What are you actively looking at? What is the image that is engraved on your mind? Or at least the image within, or the experiences within the frame set or the framework of your mind. And a lot of times we're trying to carry out our purpose and the purpose hasn't arrived yet because it's what we're looking at. So we have to be mindful of what we're looking at, not only through the eyes of our experiences or the eyes of that which we're hoping, We've got to be, we must look at the negative, we must look at the positive, and we must be active on both spectrums, if you will. Doubt is important. We must look at the doubt, because with the doubt comes the feelings, and with the hope comes the feelings. But if we are looking at something, looking at hope completely one-sided, we, in fact, have failed to look at the opportunities where this could not work. And so if we looked at the negative side of, or at least the doubt in its entirety, we miss sight or lose sight of the possibility of this project happening or manifesting itself in our life. So looking is essential, but we must know what we're looking at and be active and knowing how to look at things, moving our heart out the way so that we don't confuse reality with fantasy. Watching. What are you watching? Watching is not just watching, watching is being observant and being responsible for that which you are observing. And if I could leave you with an assignment before we wrap this webinar up, it would be is to observe yourself. Take a moment to observe your day-to-day activity. What are you feeling? What are you thinking about? What words come to mind? And the feelings behind those words. What are you watching? And in a lot of cases, what we're watching is the image or images of our past experiences or our very habits being played out before our very eyes. And almost like in a tailspin, if you will, doing the same thing, like a hamster on a treadmill, if you will, doing the same thing over and over, over and over, and not sure on how to get out. And that's the reason why action is so important, because it's not just the word action, it's more than that. It's you and I participating, being a part of what we're watching, what we're looking at, and also being active in what we're listening to. Because with the words that we see, the words that we speak, the images, it comes a conversation that, or a dialogue that's always happening for all of us. So what are you actively listening to? What are you entertained by? What's keeping your attention? So many of us are spending lots and loads of time in our minds. And to the point where it's the same old song that's playing. And we sit, look, and watch, listen actively, engage, and entertain constantly. And entertain to the point where we become exhausted actively exhausted in our approach to change our situation. And this is not a place where we want to be. So in order to change what we're actively looking at, what we're actively watching, and what we're actively listening to, we've got to change our vocabulary. We've got to change what we're listening to. It starts with changing our vocabulary. We can attach different words to what we're looking at. We can attach different words to what we're watching. And ultimately, that which we are listening to will come out different. We will hear differently. Consistency. This is powerful in itself because all of what we've talked about is through being consistent. It's not yet standing out. It's not yet trying to be different, but it's being consistent. It's having the vision in place, or at least knowing what you are looking at. It's having the concept, understanding your speech and how powerful your words are. It's applying this understanding, the information that you will learn from this webinar, that you've been learning from this webinar. It's applying this information time and time and again, consistently, being watchful of what you speak. Because what you speak and how you speak, that, my friend, is your vision. If you are speaking words that are saying that you don't have enough, that there's lack, rest assured, that is your vision. That's what you see. And if what you see is what you've been, if what you've been speaking is what you see, that's eventually the image that you will be forged into. An image that represents lack. Your entire disposition can look like lack. You will begin to speak lack. Hence the image. Because we speak what we see. And my job is to eventually get you to speak what you want to see, what you desire to see. And you must consistently apply the information that we have been discussing throughout this webinar. To apply the information consistently. What are you watching? We've spoken about that. What image comes to you? What image is the king in your life, if you will? What image in your mind that you constantly pay homage to, if you will? And that you're constantly feeding this image. You're consistent with your approach and feeding this image. But yet, at the same time, desiring different results. We have to be watchful of that which is going in, because rest assured, that which is going in, and if we don't stand at the gate of our mind, that which goes in can be damaging. Not quite yet, or at least not so quick, but that which goes in sometimes sneaks in there and into the mind. And next thing you know, we are speaking that, which we're wondering, how did it get there? So it's important to watch. Stand at the gate of your mind, if you will. Watch what goes in. See the feelings that arise from that which you are watching. See the feelings that come up, or at least how your body positions itself, how you get uncomfortable about certain things. Watch. Stand at the gate of your mind. Watch what goes in and see what comes out. Rest assured, if we are consistent with this approach, if we don't like what's going in, you and I, we get to change our vocabulary. We get to change the very word, those feelings that are attached to those words, that the experience, at least they create an experience. We get to change maybe not the experience, but the word that relates itself to that negative experience. We get to change those words and now have those words, not change the meaning of those words, but change the words that we're speaking, which ultimately creates the wrong image. Now, as we change the words that we're speaking, we get to create a different image. And when we create a different image, we can now watch, stand at the gate, be consistent as we watch. What goes in doesn't have to come out. What goes in can be stopped. We may not have been able to stop certain things in our life. We've all had our challenges in life, different experiences. But guess what? We are now of age to understand these concepts and ideas I've been sharing with you. We're now of age to put them to work in our lives, to ensure that if I want something different, I can change my vocabulary. And when I change my vocabulary, I change the image. Because the words are images, or at least eventually create images in our mind. And that image is which we all pay homage to. That image or that idea which we hope for. We can watch it manifest itself. We can watch it come into existence from that which we have spoken through consistently applying this information. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Consistently apply the information that I've shared with you within this webinar. Your vision is powerful. It may not have started off in the right fashion. You may in fact be holding on to the wrong vision. You may have had different things happen in life, which was a part or the reason why you have the wrong vision. And that vision is detrimental to your life. It's destroying you. It's hurting you. It's causing you pain. It's causing you lack. It's the wrong vision. It's the wrong words that have been spoken consistently over time. It was rinse and repeat for the wrong information, the negative information. We've rinsed it. We've repeated it over and over in the eye of our mind, if you will. And we were consistent with this approach or this habit. And here we are today, ready and desiring to change our lives. But in order to change our lives, we've got to be consistent about. We've got to dig deep and want to change the image that is on the inside. Perhaps the image is not a great image. That's okay. You have been given the tools to change the image. And as you speak and as you listen, those, in fact, or your words are the tools to change the image on the inside. And when you change the image on the inside, you change your belief. And that which you believe, you will eventually be forged into that which you believe. And it's work. It is work. There is no doubt about it. So as you and I sit at the base of that mountain, or like the mountain lion, prepared to take that leap, we've got to examine. We've got to examine the inconsistencies in our own life and be prepared to admit, because the feelings are going to come, but we've got to accept those feelings. It's wonderful to be positive all the time, but we've also have to accept the feelings that don't come from being positive. They come from pain, they come from hurt, they come from disappointments in life. Those feelings and the words that come with those feelings are equally as important, because ultimately we've got to marry the two. We've got to recognize that challenges have happened in our life and some wonderful things have happened in our life. We've got to marry those two together and to make amends with that which we don't like in our life. Because ultimately, we end up trying to disregard that. And so much of what we will hope for, so much of what we would desire in life is attached to the very emotions or those words that we would deem to be negative in our lives. Those words that bring out those horrible feelings to the point where we begin to get uncomfortable. We've got to be consistent with that. Be consistent in finding the very part of us that's been missing. The very part of us that wants to say, or that is saying, don't forget about me. Too often we're trying to leave that part of our life out, saying it doesn't matter. That was a part of my life. But we, in fact, have to embrace those feelings. Marry the two. Your purpose, and even sometimes the things that have not gone well. But we've got to marry the two. We got to understand that the failures are equally as important as our successes in life. Consistency will get you to a place where you need to arrive, and on time. But we first must be willing to be honest with ourselves. If you have been given the wrong vision, had the wrong role model in life, grew up in a situation that was not favorable, or at least favorable to that which you are desiring. It wasn't what you hoped for. It wasn't what you wanted, but you were there. And those things affected your life. But my friend, you now have an opportunity to change your image now by changing your language. And when you change your language, you change your image. And once the image is changed, you have a new belief, a new hope. And then you can begin the process of being forged into that which you desire. And here is where we end, my friend. You have achieved that which you have desired. You've gone through it. You have had the good times, the bad times. And now you arrived well in one piece. May have gone through different challenges, may have had issues with people, but nevertheless, what was important is the vision that you held on to. Through consistency, applying the information which I've shared with you within this webinar, you, my friend, will arrive at your destination on time and in one piece. My name is Curtis Brooks, and I want to thank you. We are at the end of our webinar here, and again, I'd like to invite you to contact me for more information on how we can come to a consensus for your situation and arrive at the top of your mountain in one piece with a good mindset, good frame of reference. So if you will text me if you're interested, and again, knowing more about how I can help you as a transformational speaker and a coach, please feel free to text me at 817-768-8406. Text the word or text 5 things. And perhaps we can set up an opportunity or time where we can arrange a free Skype call. Again, my name is Curtis Brooks, your host of this wonderful webinar. And this will conclude our webinar. And I want to thank all of you who participated in this webinar. And we will be wrapping it up. This webinar will be available for those who like to listen to it at some point at a later time. This webinar will certainly be available. And with that being said, it is 8:03. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that this information has been of value to you. And we will talk with you later. Ciao.